Do you know what's more dangerous than running away? Believing you're safe just because you stopped moving. Episode 4 of Runaway doesn't start with action. It starts with silence. And that's exactly why it's terrifying, because this episode isn't about escape anymore. It's about consequences. And if you watched episode 2 and thought, they'll deal with that later, episode 4 is later.
Stories don't hit us because of what happens. They hit us because of why it happens. Here, we break movies, series, and dramas the way your brain actually experiences them. The psychology, the trauma, the hidden choices nobody talks about. If you love stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, you're in the right place. We're Mentabit, and this is where stories get inside your head.
Episode 4 changes the entire meaning of Runaway. Up until now, the story felt like motion. People leaving, people hiding, people making fast decisions under pressure. But in episode 4, something shifts. Nobody is really running anymore. They're waiting. And waiting is where fear grows. Why episode 2 matters here. Let me say this clearly. If you haven't watched episode 2, you are missing the emotional foundation of episode 4. Episode 2 was about choice, a small decision, a moment that felt harmless. But Runaway is not a show where choices disappear. They age. And episode 4 is what a neglected choice looks like when it comes back fully formed. This episode doesn't explain itself loudly. It assumes you remember. That's intentional. The real conflict, not what you think. Most people think the conflict in episode 4 is external. It's not. The danger isn't the system. It isn't the people watching. It isn't even the past catching up. The real conflict is self-deception. Every major character in this episode is lying to themselves about one thing. And the scariest part? They sound reasonable. That's what makes episode 4 uncomfortable. Nobody is acting insane. Nobody is obviously wrong. They're just justifying. The quiet scenes are the point. If episode 4 felt slow to you, that means it worked. This episode weaponizes calm. Long conversations, neutral faces, controlled reactions. But under that calm is panic. Because when people stop running, they start calculating. And calculation leads to betrayal. The moment everything shifts. There's a moment in episode 4 that most viewers overlook. No music spike, no dramatic line. Just a look. That look confirms something the character didn't want to admit. At that moment, Runaway stops being about survival and starts being about identity. Who are you when escape is no longer an option? Why this episode feels heavier. Episode 4 feels heavier because it removes hope, quietly. Not in a dramatic way, not in a tragic way, but in a realistic way. Hope doesn't disappear. It gets delayed. And delayed hope creates desperation. That's why everyone feels tense in this episode even when nothing is happening. Mid-video question. Engagement. Let me ask you something. If you were in their place, would you tell the truth now or wait until it's too late to matter? Comment below. I'm genuinely curious. The title Runaway finally makes sense. Here's the genius of episode 4. Nobody runs. And that's the point. The show is asking you, is running away physical or emotional? Because every character here is emotionally escaping something. Responsibility, guilt, reality. And episode 4 exposes that escape doesn't equal freedom. What episode 4 is really about? This episode is about delay. Delaying truth, delaying confrontation, delaying accountability. And the show is warning you, the longer you delay, the more violent the outcome becomes. Not physically, psychologically. How this sets up what's coming next. Episode 4 is a pressure chamber. Nothing explodes yet, but everything is compressed. Every relationship, every secret, every lie. And when pressure builds without release, the next episode doesn't need action. It needs collapse. Final question: strong end engagement. Do you think the characters still have time to fix this? Or has episode 4 already sealed their fate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want deeper, honest explanations, not surface-level recaps, subscribe to the channel. More Runaway episodes are coming, and trust me, it only gets more uncomfortable from here.